Welcome back to another episode of the Craftavore Tastes. I'm your host, Max. And today we're digging into a beer that I've been looking for like the past 2 months or so. It's actually down in the city, New York City to be exact, and had come across this beer in a food emporium and saw a 4-pack and I was like, gotta jump on it. This is Sam Adams New England IPA. So this is kind of a follow-up review to... if you remember a review that I did, which was like my first couple of videos when I started the channel, which was a review of Sierra Nevada's Hazy Little Thing IPA, that I took a tremendous amount of heat for in the comments. All good. Honestly, what a bunch of different folks decided to say is that they believed that I incorrectly reviewed that beer as a New England style IPA. And they had a point. A lot of folks mentioned that, they didn't believe that Sierra Nevada made that particular beer in the New England style. And that they didn't point out or actually mention the term New England style or New England style IPA on the can or the packaging. And they're 100% right. It was a very fair point. Sierra Nevada did not do that. So for all those folks that made those comments, totally fair point, understood your perspective. But from where I was coming from, might be a little bit Northeast biased, right? At least where I live in the Northeast, the term hazy has become synonymous with a New England style IPA, all right? And so anytime I kind of see, or anytime that term has been used previously, from my perspective, that's an inference towards that style. So that's kind of the reason why I chose to review that beer. But anyway, how this ties into Sam Adams is... Here's another really, really large brewery, craft brewery, that is giving their attempt at the New England style IPA, which is dominating the craft beer world all across the country these days. And just to make no mistake, let's take a look at the can. It says New England style IPA or New England IPA. It also says hazy and juicy. All right, so all of those, New England IPA or New England style IPA buzzwords are on this packaging and on this can. So I am going to review this from the perspective of that style. All right, so again, I like digging into these versions of New England style IPAs when bigger breweries do them, simply based on the fact that New England style IPAs and the haze craze, right? Those cans are super hard to come by. It usually, it's one-off releases, at breweries, requires you to stand on lines, dealing with mules, all that, stuff that can, really become a hassle after you've been in, the hobby for a number of years. So I like the idea that a big brewery takes a shot at this, places it out as a shelf beer, and I did want to pick it up and go ahead and review it and rate it, and we'll see what happens. All right, so let's go ahead and pop a top on this one. Just wanted to call out that Sam Adams has on the can, they don't have a can date. They have a Best By date, which is June 2018. So, I picked this beer up a couple of days ago, and it's mid-March. So, yeah, obviously just kind of knowing the style, let's just assume this thing was canned super recently, right? Because I think you would imagine like a Best By date by 3 months at best, right? And obviously knowing everything we know about New England style IPAs, I don't know if 3 months is going to be, what you're going to want to recommend specifically for that style. So anyway, I get why they do it. Distribution of this beer is probably far and wide, right? It's difficult, obviously, for a brewery of this size to, expect that, stores are going to pull their beers off the shelf after a month or whatever it may be. So I get it. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out. I suppose it's super fresh. It doesn't have a canning date, but again, the Best By date's June 2018. Okay, let's go ahead and pop a top on this one. We'll go take a look at the appearance. We'll get the aroma. We'll taste it, and then we'll rate it. All right, so let's go ahead, open this guy up, get it straight into a glass. Got some nice head going on there. Actually, a lot. Woo! It's pouring a lot of head, and normally I'm not so good about pouring beers on camera. It's a lot harder than it looks, but wow, it actually popped out of the glass. I'm wondering Didn't shake it or anything like that, but all right. So let's go ahead. Let's get that kind of head to dissipate a little bit. So obviously a tremendous amount of head, multi-fingers. I don't know if I actually poured that wrong. I don't think I did, but anyway, beer comes in a actually really, really nice kind of medium to medium gold color. Very kind of New England IPA, traditional looking, nothing too out of the ordinary. It looks exactly like the style should, so we're off to a pretty good start. Again, a couple of different 2.5 fingers of head, kind of nice marshmallowy head actually. So super really compact bubbles, looks a bit frothy, a little bit of alcohol lacing in it. It looks awesome, man. So test number 1, it looks good. Let's go ahead and get ourselves an aroma. Wow! Huh. All right. Yeah, so straight up tropical fruits. Very, very pleasantly surprised. The nose, so I'm getting a nice bit amount of stone fruits, getting some peach, maybe a little bit of apricot. Slight bit of pineapple on the back end. Getting a nice amount of sweetness from the malts off this one. Yeah, apricot peach though. Man, that is really, really nice smelling, right? So you get those stone fruits, peach and apricot, a little kind of sweet malt backbone on the back end. Smells really, really good. Test number 2, we're looking pretty good. So let's go ahead and give this one a taste. Cheers. All right. So on the taste, what I get in those aromas, I get from the taste, but just in a little bit more of kind of subtle, subdued way. It tastes, actually, it's coming on, it's a little bit delayed at the moment. I wouldn't say that the taste is kind of super jumping out of the glass. It's a little bit more subdued than maybe the nose is. But it tastes very good. I'm going to tell you, taste follows the nose. It's mostly peach and it's apricot. I would say that the pungency of the taste, as I said, kind of falls off a little bit. I'm not going to go as far as to calling it bland or, muted. I don't think that's particularly fair. Because it does taste quite good. It tastes nice. The mouthfeel is actually really good on this one as well. I'm going to go ahead and get another taste. This is not bad, man. Wow. So yeah, like I said, it's not crazy, kind of super aggressive. Little to no lingering bitterness, just like a little bit of a hint there on the middle of the palate. Mouthfeel is actually quite nice. I wouldn't necessarily say it's kind of super creamy or even chewy, but it's soft and it's kind of bit stepped up in terms of its overall mouthfeel. Probably, I would say medium to medium minus mouthfeel, but it goes really, really well. Again, taste is kind of more of that peach and kind of apricot, slight kind of twinge of, maybe kind of like a little mango, a little like pineapple going on. Maybe even a little bit of grapefruit kind of middle of the palate. It's slightly subdued, but honestly, overall, this is a really, given who it is, right? Boston Beer Company, Sam Adams. This is actually a really, really, really good representation of a New England style IPA. I actually would be absolutely happy to pick up this beer again. Like I said, I got a 4-pack, so this is the first one that I've opened. And I'm kind of stoked for the other 3, man. Like, this is pretty darn impressive. I'm going to give it to them. They did a really nice job. One last sip. Yeah. Considering who made it, I think they did a pretty good, accurate representation of a New England style IPA. They could probably plus up a little bit on the flavor. I kind of, as I mentioned ad nauseum, it is slightly a bit more muted. And as I drink a little bit more, it does have a little bit of kind of, not going to say astringency. It does have a little bit of kind of lingering bitterness there in the middle. That's coming on a little bit more actually now that I actually have a couple more sips than it did in the beginning. But all right, let's go ahead and rate this thing, man. Wow. I'm going to go ahead and give this a straight up. This is a 4-cap beer. It really honestly is. Sam Adams did a really, really nice job. Boston Beer Company did a nice job brewing this beer. I don't know how far and wide the distribution is. I know I didn't really kind of get it in my area. I did see it in the city. But I have kind of heard that, I mean, it is a shelf beer, right? Like, it is on shelves. I just don't know how kind of far and wide they are putting out the distribution of this beer. But you know what? I hope they brew more of it, and I hope they make the distribution as far as wide as it possibly can be. This is one of the better shelf, bigger brewery, New England style IPAs I've ever had. I think the best one is probably Thomas Hooker's hashtag no filter. But if I had to kind of put like a second, you know what I mean, for a brewery of this size, I'd be hard-pressed not to put this up there. Good job, Sam Adams. All right, that'll do it for this episode of the Craftavore Tastes. I hope you join me again for another episode where I drink, I review, I rate, and then I repeat. Cheers.